How old are you, Tom?
51.
51, and I saw you do a two-fingered push-up in New York. Where did that come from?
I've always being fit. I mean, my dad was 87 when he died, and he had black hair and muscular, and he was all his own teeth. And I'm on my way. I feel like I'm 30, and I act like it. I run every day, I work out every day, except the weekends, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm fencing. I'm keeping the blood circulating at all times.
Yeah, that'll work.
But you only age because you expect to age.
Yeah, it's more of a state of mind, I think, than if you work at it, you can keep the physicality of it out.
Oh, I won't. I'm not going to go into it because these are lengthy discussions about how the mind affects your body. But you age because you expect to age. If you don't, there have been so many experiments. A famous doctor in Boston, throughout science, has been so many experiments with the mind-body connection, and everything begins with your mindset on it. You can change anything about you any second of any day by simply changing your mindset or the way you interpret what you see.
Right.
I mean, reality comes at you. Here's an idea. Reality comes at you through your senses, okay? You have 5 senses. Reality comes to you through those senses, through your perception. Now, your perception tells you that you are walking on a flat Earth. We all know it's round. Perception tells you you're standing on something solid, okay? But we know that this planet is flying through space at thousands of miles an hour,
Right.
So your perception tells you one thing, but what really is going on is something else. And I kind of live in another world of what's really going on,
What would be your advice for someone who wants to get started?
Well, there's no formula. I mean, if there was, then everybody would be doing it. Everybody who's involved has their own individual stories as to how they got there. I think it all begins with a love of movies. Okay, from the time you're a kid. I think I can only advise anybody who wants to be in special makeup effects. You have to photograph absolutely everything you do, put a portfolio together with those photographs, and then you got to go to LA, where every 3 blocks there's a special effects studio, knock on the doors and bug people with your portfolio.
Right.
I mean, that is really how it's done, and there are dozens of case stories that happen exactly like that. I mean, just my interns alone, every intern that has ever been with me goes to LA with their portfolio and they work immediately.
Right.
Immediately. I mean, there was a guy working for me for years who was afraid to go to LA, afraid. Finally, he left. I mean, his fears were, what am I going to do? Where am I going to live? Just go. Put some money together and just go and show your portfolio around. He went there, and 6 months later, he had an Emmy Award for Babylon 5.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens.
He is set. I mean, but every intern that leaves just my studio works.
Right.
And if it's just imagine how many are going out there a year,
Right. Now, who are some of your peers whose work really blows you away?
The greatest makeup artist in the world, of course, is Dick Smith.
Right, The Exorcist and...
Exorcist, The Godfather, The Sentinel, Taxi Driver. I mean, you name a movie that affected you, he did it, But he's also the godfather of makeup artists because he invented all the techniques that we use. Now, he's, semi-retired. He offers the Dick Smith course, which is, to me, the best way to learn the stuff. I mean, it's on my website as well. I get nothing out of that except the pleasure of recommending people to Dick Smith's course.
Right.
And Rick Baker, who did The Nutty Professor, the Men in Black. I mean, those 2 movies. Yeah, the greatest ape creator. I mean, just those 2 movies, Nutty Professor and Men in Black. I mean, he's a genius. And I was just at the makeup trade show a few weeks ago, and Dick Smith was talking about how some people are born geniuses, and he singled out Rick Baker as the one. And Rob Bottin has done some great stuff, Total Recall, The Thing, The Howling, There's quite a few makeup artists that are out there that to me are just so inspire me,
Well,
But Dick is the godfather. Rick Baker is the greatest out there after Dick.
Tom Savini, ladies and gentlemen. Visit him at savini.com. It's always a pleasure, man.
Thank you.